Howdy, it's Tubalcain again, and this is part 25B, the answer to my What Is It series. Be sure and watch 25A if you haven't already seen it, and there are 5 items here, and they were way too easy. Just about everybody had this one, and of course these are Clecos, but in fact there are apparently several different competitors, and this one is called Wedge Lock. And these are marked Wedge Lock also. But the purpose of Clecos, of course, they were developed in the aircraft industry. And if you look at any archival photos of the aircraft plants during the Second World War, you'll see hundreds of these in the fuselages and wings as they're building them, and Rosie the Riveter is using them. They're also used in body work and hot rod work and sheet metal and so on. And the idea here is that you drill or punch one hole, and then you insert a Cleco in there, and it holds it in place, or maybe several Clecos, while you go back and do your riveting or your welding or whatever the operation happens to be. And these come in different sizes, and the whole idea here is that using this pliers, you can put it in the hole that's been drilled, and that might be the wrong size. That's the wrong size, so I'd have to put this in. And then they're removed after the other operations are performed, like that. And they also make these little clamps, I call them monkey wrenches, but they have to be used near the edges. So might have limited use, but still pretty neat. Like that. So we're going to call those Clecos, even though they're wedge locks. Temporary fasteners. Pretty neat product. Next item given to me by Nick out in Sydney, Ohio here, and he gave me a bunch of indicators, thank you Nick, is this one, and it's called, several of you had it right, a chamfer check gauge. Digital or dial, but this one naturally is a dial, and the purpose of this is to check countersinks or chamfers. Kind of a neat tool, very specialized. Thank you, Nick. Next here, given to me from Bob out in Tucson, Arizona, these are tri-dares, and several of you had this right, anybody that worked around aircraft. These were used in panels of aircraft, access or repair panels that you would open and do maintenance or whatever, and these are made by, well, I think they're tri-dare, I think it was an aluminum company, maybe Reynolds. And the reason Bob sent these is that they are a two-start thread. So using a tool, they could very quickly open up that panel, even though it looks like a lot of thread here, just a turn or two, and you can open the panel. So those are called tri-dares, and that of course is a trade name, but look at how quickly they move with a two-start thread. Those tri-dares are Alcoa fastening system. Goes right along with aircraft panels, which would be made of aluminum. And item 4 here, and I'm not sure anybody had this right, and I only have a picture of it anyway. And it's either some kind of a deburring tool, it's a Brown and Sharp, probably a specialized tool, or a facing tool that possibly could fit over a shaft and then square up the end of a product, whatever it happens to be. Brown and Sharp. Unsure. We probably never will know. And finally, another tool here. This is from Nick also, and this would be worth a couple $1,000s if you had to buy it, but it's a profilometer used to check surface roughness. Taylor Hobson. So that's made in the UK. Surtronic, and I recall when I worked at Caterpillar using Taylor Hobson products for inspection. Now I'm going to do a whole video on surface smoothness, or surface roughness actually is what it's called, and show you how to use this. It seems to work. And there's a little diamond probe here that that checks the roughness, as opposed to using this type of gauge, which is strictly visual or with your fingernail. So this is rather subjective compared to this, which will give you an exact answer, and then it can even be graphed or printed out, the results. So this is pretty neat. Watch for our video on surface roughness. Okay, that completes this version, or this edition of What Is It? Hope you continue to watch my videos. This is tubalcain saying so long, and I'll see you in my next video.